This is everybody, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Well, Kendra's not here, but I don't know if she's coming.
Sounds like a call to order is in,
It's an order. Right. So we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order.
Okay.
All right. Thank y'all for being here.
Is there a secretary tonight, or do you want me to take minutes?
That'd be great. You know?
We have,
You're there?
Rosemary, unmute if you can hear
I
us.
just want to make sure you're able to hear us.
Is your thing on? So she
Rosemary, can you hear us?
hear you.
Down in the lower left of your screen, there should be a little microphone. If you click it, it'll unmute you.
Can you hear me now?
You hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear us,
Hello?
Rosemary?
Yes, I can, but I don't know if you can hear me.
If you click on the microphone, it says audio settings, try sync with device.
Oh, that's always a problem. Sync with device, audio settings. Audio setting is all the way up.
Do we have minutes to review? I don't.
Go
Okay,
resend them.
it's been a while.
You want me to resend them? I just relocated them myself today.
I think we have. I might have them. Oh, here we go.
Okay.
No, right? Is this right?
Mhm. Hmm.
Hello?
Yeah, hi Lisa, it's Rosemary.
Hey, Rosemary. I was wondering if that was you calling me.
I can hear, but for some reason, my computer, I can't get it to so that you can hear
Putting
me.
on your speakerphone.
Yeah, you want me to go ahead and put you on? I just put you.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's recording. Sorry about that.
Oh, wait a minute. Here.
All right, so I just put you on speakerphone.
No longer being recorded.
They should hear you. Okay.
All right, so you're on speakerphone. Okay, so we need to
Okay.
have a roll call. Is that what we should be doing now?
If she mutes herself now, that might stop that echo. And she's not-
Oh yeah, Rosemary, did you hear Jake suggested that you mute yourself on the computer so you don't get the feedback?
Oh, wait a minute. Mute myself on the computer.
Right now?
Are you there? Rosemary,
Yeah, how's that?
we're still getting feedback.
Why don't you mute here and see if that helps?
Nobody's microphone will work.
These things will work? I mean,
Took a microphone back.
Right, that's what I think we do, is give her a microphone.
and then we're just gonna echo ourselves. We'll have to deal with it.
All right, you have a mic.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Okay, so maybe we should go ahead and proceed with the roll call, just for the record, who's here? Okay. All right, yeah, let's start with Rosemary Papero,
Here.
Lisa Figgy,
Here.
Bill Chandler,
Here,
Jake Dillon,
here.
and Katie Schwab, I'm here as well. Okay. Now we can proceed to just approving the minutes. We last met in December. There were minutes circulated shortly thereafter. I've just re-upped them into your inbox in case you don't have them. Anyone have any comments or feedback on that?
Sounds like a no.
Okay, all right, motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No, are the minutes corrected though to show that we have a 20-year loan instead of a 40-year?
No, thank you for noticing that. We'll put that in the correction.
So, all right, so then we need to make another motion to approve the amended minutes.
Okay, so
So
an
moved.
amended motion, right?
Yep. So moved, all second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anyone opposed? Okay, all
So,
right,
so loan is coming from 40-year to 20.
yep,
Okay. All right.
okay. Review of the bylaws. This would just be, just changing the bylaws to reflect what we discussed last time, which is that rather than meeting monthly, we would meet quarterly. I didn't see anything, I went through them, I didn't really see anything else that needed immediate attention. So just, is there any other?
I'm a little concerned about meeting just quarterly. I don't think we're getting much done this way.
The question, if we change the bylaws to say that we meet just quarterly, does that obviate the fact that if we need another meeting in the interim, we can't have one?
No, we can always call a special meeting. There's, we've done that already, like, there's nothing to prevent us from doing that.
My suggestion would be to go to every other month. I mean, there's some things we know we need to get started on. So when the money starts coming back in, if we want to look at other grants, meeting quarterly, we're just not very effective this way. It all depends on how much we want to do.
That's a very good question. And do we have something about that further down the agenda? I guess we can jump right to it. But do we want to discuss established priorities, discuss established priorities before review officers and vacancies? Everyone good with that?
Sure.
So
Sure.
I'm going to start with my understanding of the EDA.
Okay.
For everyone here involved. The EDA was formed, it was reactionary, and it was because of the loan to the Lewiston building, which we then needed an EDA for to oversee the bylaws and everything else that's associated with a government subsidized loan. And so we have gotten together and done that, and everyone's sworn in. But the way I see it is that unless we designate someone as the sourcer of grants, and then have a way to apply those grants to, a meaningful project, then what are we going to meet on? And I'm asking that question candidly. So if you have other ideas, I'd be happy to.
Well, I do think we know we need to figure out how we're going to set up our revolving loan fund. That's something we know we're going to need. We need to figure out what the criteria is for loaning the money back out, what projects would be eligible, what buildings would be eligible. Are we interested in being more impactful in the community? I know there was some concern with Main Street only having a district that maybe the EDA would be able to do stuff uptown. So if that's the direction we want to go in, which I'm fine, however we want to operate, but I do feel that we're not super effective and we really don't have a whole lot of purpose at the moment. And that's a little frustrating for me. So it all depends on how the board wants to progress. I mean, I'm happy to do the work, but I also can't be the only one doing the work. And I'm a little stretched thin on other things that I'm doing, but I'm happy to do it. I just want to know that this is what we want to be doing. And our function is really not necessarily to get all that money into the town. Our function is to send it back out into the town once it's received. That's where the town was unable to do it. So.
Right.
Do
So-
we want to be impactful? I mean, we know somebody just bought the Wise building. Maybe there's something we can help them with down the road. I mean, I don't know.
It's funny you mentioned that because I was just about to say, I don't know what comes first, right? So I talked to Jamie the other day and he was like, oh yeah, we want to do something with this building. He talked about sort of putting a soda fountain back in it, sort of like little teeny gourmet lunch counter, something similar to Janet's.
Sure.
I thought what a great idea. How do we help him as the EDA? He hasn't asked for it. Do we offer it? And then what's the next step? And again, I'm asking these questions candidly. I'm not,
No, I appreciate that. This is a good conversation I think we need to have. What do we want to be when we grow up? I mean, this is a big deal
Right.
because it's going to take effort.
I
on
also feel
everybody's
like,
part.
there has to be something that happens first. And I was gonna cite the case of the Wise Drugstore because
Yeah.
it's happening.
Yep.
And look, there are other things that could happen too. I mean, we've got the brewery, but that's tied up in something else. And we've got, I don't know, a lot of people express interest in that space behind Bizotto's. If someone wanted to do something there, it'd be great to help them. Those types of things, but it feels like we need investors as sort of a catalyst to move forward in the first place.
I feel like that's been the missing link. I think we all share a little bit of frustration in that we had this beautiful Lilliston project and a loan to sort of approve and administer, but we haven't had the missing link of an actual project with an actual investor.
Right. And we don't have
And-
any money right now. I mean,
Right.
we're all kind of waiting
Right.
for the Wilson to start repayment. I think Rosemary, did you have something you'd like to comment on?
Suggested when we first started that we have a meeting with Main Street, the town council, OBCA, and probably the FOS to determine who could go after what grants. And I think that it needs to be a coordinated effort. And I would also put the planning commission on that. I think we need an overall game plan for the town. And not just do like scattershot.
I think that makes some sense, but as I said, I think we need project people, we need property owners, we need investors.
Yeah, Mary Clemens is now listed her building for sale. She's permanently closed down her business. So I think she's asking 600,000 for that. Tony Nelson's building, I don't know what's happening with that.
They've got a renter coming in.
They have a renter coming in. Prior to that, it was on the market for 550. I'm not sure what moved it to make Mary's building
Yeah.
600 and the bank 550.
No. They've already put signs. They're supposed to be here by April, I think.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Which will be good because that'll be our only coffee shop.
And then we have Wise, and then I'm assuming also that it's entirely possible that the guy who defaulted on Wise may also lose the hotel and the La Tavola.
Yeah, and my understanding is those are rent to owns. So they will default back to the owners.
Okay. And then, then there'll be two more businesses that are sort of floating on nothing.
Yep.
So that comes back to the chicken and the egg. I
Yep.
mean,
Uh-huh.
can we source some grants without,
Right.
because you need a plan to source a grant, right? You have to say, well, this is what we wanted to, can we be more vague and say, we've got a lot of properties down here, and if we have a grant or a loan in place, it would be the enticement for potential investors to come in and do something with these historic buildings?
I think so. I know, and I haven't looked at it, but I'm pretty sure Main Street did a financial feasibility study on the Wise drugstore so they did Wilson, the Wise, and then they did Janet Fletcher's building. So I haven't looked at it, but I think that's something that I've already told Jamie I would be happy to share with them. So there's your first level. Like, if you've shown that it's a financially feasible situation, then you can write grants that could potentially have something behind them and show that there's been research done on the property and
Yeah, well, one good thing about what Ben did and I'm not sure who footed the bill, and I'm not sure it's gonna come back on Gary or anybody, or Gary doesn't know what it is, but there's a roof on Wise now, and there's a pole in there, so they've got both power and a brand new roof,
Yeah.
not to mention studs that you can put a wall up on. All these things weren't there before.
Right.
So that much has happened, which I think is a step in the right direction. And I don't think anyone-
Well,
Right.
you know, I think the other thing we need to realize is that the feds are going to be tightening down on any money they're giving out to the states. And the states, I think, might be looking at localities and deciding, you know, what can we afford and what can we not afford.
Well, but we can't worry about that yet, in my opinion. Not that we shouldn't be aware that it's a potential. I just don't want to live my life worried about what may or may not happen. If there's grants out there, why not try to apply for them?
But that's macroeconomics, and I mean, yeah, to your point, if there are grants, go after it.
Yeah.
But I suspect that there will be fewer and fewer.
Oh, yeah.
And, many squirrels, same nut kind of thing. So we have to have a
Right.
pretty compelling story.
Right. Right. So I guess that's my thinking as to why I would be perfectly comfortable meeting quarterly. We don't have things to administer on a monthly or bi-monthly basis right now. I think, the idea that there's a new property owner, Jake's already like serving as an ambassador to say, what are you interested in? You're obviously doing that every day. I think that's a valuable function of just being in this position, knowing that this opportunity is there. But I do feel like it is a chicken and egg problem. And it took me a long time to understand why, but I think that's really the problem, is that we don't have infrastructure, we don't have partners yet. And meeting more regularly, I don't know that that facilitates that. And I know the work you all are doing at Main Street, I know, OBCA, like people are out there talking, meeting all the time. I don't know that more meetings is the solution.
Who's going to write the grants for us when we decide what we want to do? Who's going to be checking in? There's
Yeah.
work to be done, and it can't just fall to one person. It probably needs to be a board scenario. Maybe somebody takes one section of a grant, and maybe somebody's out there talking to property. I don't know what the answer is, but I know that this is not an effective model.
That brings up a great question for me. I wish I could have done the industrial revitalization meeting, but I just don't. The question I asked earlier, can you apply for a grant without solid project in place? I think that's a very
Right.
salient question. And then if you can, let's go for everything we can. And we know that we have projects we can put towards them. And again, enticing potential investors with, a deal like 2.5% on Lilliston or whatever it is, 3%, or a flat out grant on something smaller or of equal size. I mean, that's great. So with that said, it feels like a first step is a research into the grant application process. And then once we know that we can secure one, then maybe we all get together and, I'd be happy to contribute into any conversation saying, hey, here's a grant for X amount of money. How do we move this thing along through the process? And then
I did sign up for the workshop. I will attend that. I think it's next week. That's weird.
Oh, that's that. Rosemary, was that you FaceTiming me?
I go back to listening to what you're saying, and to me, that's my dilemma with trying to understand, how we move forward. And I understand the frustration that you are saying too, but I'm kind of like, with my background and knowledge, how are we going to do these things? And if we can't do what Jake just suggested, if you can't apply for these grants to have them, then what are we going to be doing and talking about if we meet monthly or every other month or every week? It just doesn't. help me, help me wrap my head around what we will accomplish with that. I mean, the downtown, let me just say, the downtown is going through a transition again right now. I mean, you've got one shop closing, you got another shop moving, you've got somebody moving into one of those. You're gonna have one that's going to be empty. You've got this building that's just gone through foreclosure, and you've got a good buyer there who probably has the capability to do a lot of things with it, or he'll flip it. I mean, it's all about money to him. Even though I think he does have the interest of town. We got the hotel. This guy's lost this. How long before Gary and Charlotte, you're gonna hear that they're back in possession of that? The pizza place, I mean, he's over there. How long? And Vince is only renting.
Apparently
him.
he has not renewed his lease on the pizza place.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's sad news.
So, I mean, we do have next door down here to the hotel. I mean, this guy over here is doing a great job in town. I mean, opening up an ice cream shop. You got the old Chandler Furniture Building on the market. You made a comment that the problem with the bank was she wanted 500 and some thousand. Well, the Evans woman wants 600 for that. And that's I mean, it's not, it's not in good shape. We have a lot of places we could offer and sink money in helping to do this, but how, you've got a really good grasp on a lot of this, much more so than I do. So I defer, and I know you're young, you've got kids, you got a husband, you got Main Street, you got the town, but give me a straight line to how we do this, besides just meeting.
Go ahead, Rosemary.
What we could do in the short term is take seminars on learning how to write grants. I really don't know how, I've never done it. But maybe the other thing is,
That's a good idea.
instead of meeting with all of these different agencies in town, we just meet with the planning commission.
So they are redoing their comp plan or looking to make updates to the comp plan this year for town council's approval. So that would definitely be a good, and what are they interested in doing? What are we interested in seeing changes of? I do know that the money for the current Williston, when it comes back, it will have to be lent out almost identical criteria in which it was lent out in the first place. Oh, good. Hold on, Rosemary. Matt's saying something. Hold on.
Sorry, let me put my microphone in.
Okay.
Brandon Archer, who's with DHCD, said, Matt, you're correct. All money is yours to use at your discretion.
Oh, good.
DHCD asks that it be reinvested into projects similar to the IRF. So we've got a lot of latitude on that money.
Excellent.
And the rate has to be the same or does not necessarily? Not necessarily. Yeah.
Right.
Were you suggesting less or more?
And I know you've told us before, but when do we expect that to start coming back?
Let me share another email I got
Okay.
from Ann Kyle. Sorry, I forgot the microphone. Another email from Ann Kyle says, hey, Matt, attached are some photos I took earlier today. I wanted you to update you and the EDA with respect to our progress on the upstairs apartments. We have drywall finished and painted. Interior doors have been hung and painted. Trim is going on around all doors. We ordered flooring over a month ago, but I understand that it's to be delivered this week. I'm pricing cabinetry, which we hope to have ordered by next week for the kitchens. Vanities have arrived for the bathrooms and are waiting to be installed once the floor is down. We've also received a drawing and bid for the back parking lot. We have every reason to believe that we're on track to finish construction sometime in June.
Nice.
So it sounds like they're planning to be done by June, Rosemary.
It's all contingent on their permanent C of O, so when do they anticipate?
Right.
receiving that?
We'll have to complete construction first, right?
Yeah.
And then the C of O should be pretty pro forma after that? Okay.
And I know they're working up there. I had a hair appointment there. I don't think she's dragging her feet to not pay us back. I think she's working
Oh, I'm just worried
diligently
about
to get
that.
it completed.
Right,
Good.
right. And then it'll come in on monthly payments, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's good about Brandon Archer. So that we can, I mean, it's gonna be similar criteria, but at least it relaxes some of the really stringent
That's
stuff.
very helpful. Right.
Yes.
So in
That's good.
regards to that future income stream or revenue stream, remind me, so it's the 20-year, what is the monthly?
I think it's $5,200 or
Yeah.
some change. And those, there's no minimum lending requirement, so if
Right.
one of the buildings loses a tenant and needs a new roof and says he's for 10 grand, I can get this roof done and probably fill my store. That would be an application. So I go back to what Lisa was saying, and that they have to have a process in place for loan applications and approval.
So this
Right.
money is gonna go into the fund that the EDA is responsible for.
Yep.
It
Yep.
will begin to accrue.
Yep.
And we can turn around and lend out up to the amount that we have
Yes.
for any interest rate we want, but the interest rate that the current loan is on, remind me, is it?
Three.
It's like two
Oh,
and a
two and a
half.
half. I thought it was three.
I kind of like the idea of keeping it the same, but God, you could entice someone to drop it.
But we want to encourage development and revitalization in our town. So if we keep it lower, that's another reason for investors to want to come in and do.
Right, and this is not a time to solve for like what interest rate we would.
No.
No, no, but I see Matt's point. It's intentional.
understand.
2.5, I consider that, especially with today's interest rates, I'm like.
It's lower than my student loan, which is
Pretty-
3%.
Right.
you don't,
No, commercial loans are pretty high right now, so,
Yeah.
right.
Oh, yeah.
There's plenty, right, but I think you're right, this is not the time. to
No,
talk about
no,
that.
but-
I do think what is an interesting issue that y'all are raising is that we can think about this in, like, one policy thing to think about is we could do microloans, we could do shorter term loans, like it doesn't, obviously we have more flexibility. We don't have to make it another great big huge mega project. Could be used differently, so that is an interesting thing to think about over the next few
everything we're
months.
discussing right here feels like, we need something to, well, what does it say here? Discuss established priorities, including Main Street. Yeah, so like a mission statement and scope, right? Something that says, hey, here's what we're gonna do, and we need to come up with a mission statement and scope. And writing that, I think, is probably a good first step. And it would be included how often we meet, and maybe in order to understand what we're gonna do with this newfound revenue stream. And then figure out how the hell we apply for grants, what all goes into that. Maybe, that would be a more frequent cadence until we get to a place where we're, on a level plane. Does that make sense?
I mean, whatever y'all want to do, I'm just raising the point of how I feel like we're not really doing anything when we don't meet, so nothing's really getting done. We meet, we talk, it all sounds great, then we go home and nobody thinks about it again for 3 months.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
And
But Main Street's actively working on all of this every single day.
Right,
Yes.
that's part of the dilemma,
That's
I
the
think.
part where it feels
Right.
like we're against each other if I wanted to put a planning grant together for the Wise building. I know it's already done, so that's why I used it, but if we want to do that, and you at the same time are like, well, I want to put a planning grant together for Mary's building. Now we've got two competing grant applications going to DD from two different
Yeah.
organizations, and that
Well, and that's why we need the partnerships, because there's obviously things that Main Street can do easily and have been doing versus what the EDA could be picking up for, and obviously when we do these planning grants through DHCD, they're only for our district. It's not like when we do VTC grants and that's for the whole town. So we couldn't be looking at properties uptown. We can only focus on downtown.
I think we also really do have to look at the properties uptown as well.
Yeah, I did, but I do see an immediate need for what's going on downtown, which is why
Yeah.
we're working on our open
Yeah.
for.
I-
yourself thin, kind of.
Yeah, I think the downtown definitely needs to be stabilized before you start to expand uptown.
Yeah.
Not to shun uptown.
No,
but
no.
It's just, I think that there's too many issues going on right here. Once we get this as a viable economic entity that's bubbling, functioning down here, then we can look at parts of town that could benefit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that's
But, and we do want to partner. We want to partner with everyone. We're doing this open for business program that we're trying to get off the ground so that we can, retain the businesses we have and recruit the businesses that we want. I mean, we know that there's open storefronts. We know these things are going on, and we know that there's construction just outside of town, and we'll be the downtown to support those people. So that's how I'm planning for the future with Main Street and being on the EDA, like how, and town council, like we know this is happening. So how do we prepare for it so we're not being reactionary to it? And I think the planning commission needs to be involved too on some level, and town council. I mean, this is not just a problem for us to solve here. This is a problem, and I don't even want to call it a problem. It's, it's kind of a nice problem. We're gonna have all these people outside of town being able to support businesses. This
It's a
is a
challenge.
great
Yeah.
time
well,
to recruit.
your perspective on this is so different than mine. And that's because of your involvement with every one of
Yeah.
these different entities that have the town's interest in heart. And you're focusing and filtering all that together. We're looking at this, but you need to bring us on board, with the whole thing and keep us advised.
Would you like to, well, let's talk about this. This is kind of maybe going down a rabbit hole, but I would love to get a meeting together with Main Street and the EDA, and let's just talk about our open for business and what that looks like. And we know we got this new property owner, and so maybe we just start talking with each other. First things first.
Yeah, so I am confused about the interplay between the EDA and the town and how they represent the town, but then Main Street is in the town and they're also doing that same thing. And that's the, microcosm of the one nut, already two squirrels. But, we can coordinate, and I think that's a good idea. A conversation between the EDA and Main Street feels like a no-brainer. I'd love to have that happen.
Just even just start talking with each other. Just, what are we thinking? How are we feeling? We want to play well with everyone. We're all here for the same goal, right?
You talk about construction outside of town, and I guess I'll look to you, Bill. You've got the most historic context, and this is a little, I'm digressing a little bit, but when I walked through town, when I first got here, there were some houses that needed attention. John and Dana's is a good example, the Quimby house. But I have seen 15 to 20 houses, old houses that they have serious remodeling going on. There's Ann and Kelly's place. I mean, there's the Adlers down there. And then
The Crow Crossy house.
Yes.
The one at the bridge.
so, yeah, so I was gonna ask you, is that something new? Because the investment in the town itself, the
Yeah,
infrastructure
all the-
of just the houses.
And the houses on the market, on Market Street, the big,
Yeah,
Beautiful
what's going
houses.
on here now, the resurrection part is at a much faster pace than what it has been in the past. But we lag behind. If you go to Cape Charles and sit down in the middle of that town and look, this is really lagging compared to there, but we're not Cape Charles. I don't think anybody wants to be, but it's, but yeah, I mean, and what these people are spending on these things are just astronomical.
Yeah. And even if, look, here's a point about Cape Charles and Berlin, any other place like that. I just want to make a point that even if we had the We Want to Be Cape Charles committee, we'd never succeed because, we don't have the beach. We're not within 20-minute drive of Virginia Beach.
Mhm.
We don't have the population center. When you look at 40,000 people on the eastern shore of Virginia, a whole hell of a lot are right in Cape Charles. Berlin is the gateway to Ocean City, and the population just increases more and more and more the further north you go. We're a very unique situation here, and I think that anything we can do to
I'll-
encourage business development.
I'll share an experience that I had this past winter, that my wife and I, on 5 different occasions, ran into people in Florida, from New York, from Virginia, for example, like Richmond, another couple of other northeastern areas. And they all, in the typical conversation, where are you from, whatever, they all said, when we said the Eastern Shore of Virginia, they all said, Nancock,
Wow, really?
Nancock. And one guy said, from New York, he said, I'm looking for property down there. He said, when you get back, will you take a ride and look at this house for me? And-
That's awesome.
And let me know what you think. I mean, that's,
Fascinating.
so yeah, we're not Berlin and we're not Cape Charles, but the reputation that we're establishing is of a different nature. But it is it enhance what we're doing is very important to make sure that this is all done to continue, not to change the town, but to enhance it.
Yes.
Cape Charles has been changed. Berlin has been changed. So,
Very interesting.
Mhm.
One thing
I mean-
about our Nancock that's hard to change is peninsula,
Mhm.
right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
on this little peninsula, and that you're not gonna do much to this district except revitalize what's already here.
But you can't change the character.
You cannot, I agree.
And that's what is here. That these other places have geographic things that work to their benefit.
Yeah.
Here, we have character.
Interesting.
Who, does the town offer any abilities to help us with grants and looking for these things? I know at one time you said you were browsing those all the time. Not to throw that, but is there anybody that, Lisa said we'll have to take them and split it up amongst us.
It's just a thought. That's how we just did it at Main Street.
And in an ideal world, that would be great, but I find that's probably not gonna get us very far.
Yeah, I do sort of spend Friday afternoons looking for grants that might make sense for us. I think about, Main Street goes after downtown grants. That's what they're there for. They're gonna fill our storefronts for us. That's what they're gonna do. The EDA could be the bigger federal grants that can talk about infrastructure, that can talk about revitalizing low and moderate income neighborhoods, that type of thing. It would be a much more substantial federal grant is the way I'm looking at EDA, because the smaller, and they're not even small, the grants that are going to help us downtown are Main Street's already aware of them and they're already going after them.
So because they're downtown, is there,
What kind of infrastructure grants are you thinking about? What part of the infrastructure?
Well, I think a lot of it is, along with our character, we want to have streets that are smooth and street lights that are appealing and ornamental. We want to have an uptown that doesn't look like, you have to have a sign that says, keep going, this isn't it. So that's what I'm thinking.
So, but in terms of the economic development side of what we do. We wouldn't be able to go into neighborhoods, would we? Or is this, are you thinking just like main drags where businesses are or what?
Development can be, if you build it, they will come.
The
So
law's very
residential
broad.
Parts of it is.
Okay.
private. And that's where the low and moderate income housing comes into it. And that helps us get those grants if we move uptown, especially for EDA.
Mhm.
Whereas Main Street, you guys still have, I mean, your hands are full.
Okay.
Maybe different focus.
All right. So it sounds like we want to keep the quarterly meetings. It was just me expressing concern.
Hey, that being
No,
said,
yeah.
if
If you
you
wanna, right,
do some grant research and you want to talk about it, I'll call a meeting because I'm interested to know what, what's out there and how, how it's applied for, how it's administered, what the guardrails are, all those things.
Okay.
Well, I go back to my, question that, are there online seminars, and I imagine there are,
That's a great question.
on how to write grants?
Apparently Janet was our grant writer.
I'm sorry. Somebody's talking, Rosemary. I didn't hear you.
Okay, there must be online seminars about how to write grants.
So I'm going to attend tomorrow's meeting from DHCD. I'm not sure if that's grant specific or how, so
yeah.
I'll find out more. It's not necessarily hard to apply for a grant, and once you zero in on the grantor, they usually have some type of educational process prior to the grant being open.
So we should just look for grants?
Yeah, that would be where I would start and then see who the funder is, and they usually hold, like Virginia Tourism just did a bunch of stuff. DHCD through Main Street did a bunch of educational pieces prior to their grants opening, so that they're pretty good about trying to give their money away as best as possible.
Hey, Bill just had a question that I'm curious about too, and is there like a criteria for example, a decline reason for grants? So why did Janet get declined for the grant over at House of Heels?
I don't even remember it was something that wasn't in there that they were happy about. Do you remember? It's been too long now.
Set of criteria, right?
There is.
And we can work around that. I mean, my understanding was that Janet was talented at grant writing or
She's pretty good at it.
so, maybe we can invite her in and tell us
She can
about
run
her
the seminar.
travails and successes.
Right.
Yeah. And they're still looking for funding, I think. So I know we have other things on the agenda, so I won't take up our time anymore.
This is actually really helpful. This is very helpful. We haven't had time to go over this and the overlap between everyone with the same intentions, chasing after the same nut, just to continue that metaphor. Like I think it's gotten in our way. So this is helpful.
Good. All right. So are we supposed to be adopting the new bylaws? Is that what we're supposed to be doing?
I guess so. I think that's what we should do. Do you want to wait and revisit? We can, I mean, it would just make it, we did talk about it last time and we've changed our practices, but we should make it official, or we can wait until next time and do it then.
Doesn't matter to me. If you want a motion, I'll make it.
All right, let's do it.
All right. I make a motion to approve the amended bylaws as presented this evening.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
You oppose, Rosemary?
No, she said aye.
Okay,
Yeah. I moved.
Lisa, Jake. All right, thank you.
Jake.
Jake. Okay. All right, couple of things on the next item on the agenda. We do have a vacancy on the board still, which I know we talked about a little bit earlier. So thank you, Matt, for offering to put a notice on the town's website. And
We have 2 vacancies.
Well, what's
No.
the story with
Kendra got filled.
Kendra's been
Kendra's here.
appointed. She couldn't
Oh,
make it
okay,
tonight, but she
okay.
was appointed by the town council, which is
Okay.
great. Yes,
Good.
yes.
So we have a vacancy.
We have one vacancy, and if anyone has ideas, please hunt them down.
Yeah.
Um,
None over there.
hmm?
You don't have any ideas, Jake?
I mean, I can go out on Indeed and see if there's any candidates out there who are feeling magnanimous.
Right?
Right.
Help wanted, but for free.
Must be a resident, right?
Yeah,
Right. I guess that does hurt us a little bit.
or an adjacent property, right? An adjacent locality.
County?
Yes.
Obviously, I hope so.
Yeah,
Okay.
all right. And then we also need to select officers, because Matt would prefer not to serve as treasurer any longer, and Joy, who was our secretary, has stepped off the board.
There they go.
Right, so,
So the vacancies to be filled then are treasurer and secretary, right? Because there's, sorry, what's your title? Like, you know.
I guess I'm the chair, and I think Bill's the vice chair, if I remember correctly,
Yeah.
so we need two other members, one to serve as treasurer and one to serve as secretary.
Just so you know, Virginia law allows the chair to hold the position of treasurer as well.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Well,
but secretary has to be separate.
okay,
Well, I can tell you now, I'm not good at taking notes. Meeting minutes are not my thing.
okay.
Treasurer it is.
All right,
That I could do. I manage a pretty huge budget in my professional life. And like, I feel like I could do that.
I will be happy to do it next year after I'm no longer president of Main Street.
Is
Until
there a
then,
conflict there or?
it's a personal conflict that I just have too many things going on.
Yeah, I hear you.
Sorry,
No, no.
but I'll be happy to step up in a year. Yes, so, but he just got nominated to be treasurer. Treasurer, but we're talking about secretary. Kendra.
Hey. Well,
Here.
Rosemary.
Rose, interested in being secretary?
No way.
Oh, God, come on.
You have some you have some static there. Did you say way?
I heard way, absolutely.
Way. Well, then
Well,
you,
why don't we wait and look at secretary next
Okay.
meeting when Kendra is with us as well, and maybe we
Okay.
can talk Rosemary into it in the meantime. I'll take you out for drinks, Rosemary.
No way.
all right. So we make a motion to appoint Jake as the treasurer to,
Great.
who's he's taking Matt's
yes,
spot.
yes, that's right, that's a good.
Are you making the motion?
Important.
I make
Okay.
the motion.
Second,
Okay, all in favor?
aye.
All right, any opposed? Okay, that's done, great,
Tabling secretary till next time.
I guess so, okay, very good, thank you.
I'll ask you some questions, Matt, about where the numbers are kept. I presume that it's a shared drive somewhere and not on someone's desktop. Okay.
We have a very complicated,
Get,
it'll be good, okay.
give you the cigar.
Now,
box then.
highlight of our meeting. We get,
Oh, the Main Street.
we get to hear more about what Main Street's been cooking
Okay,
up.
so we did a survey and 2 community engagements at the end of last year, well, going into fall. We had 404 responses, which is statistically very significant. We asked about why people were visiting our downtown, what types of new businesses, activities, experiences they wanted to see, reasons to encourage people to visit Onancock, and reasons to encourage people to establish businesses here. 55% of the people that took the survey live in Onancock. I'm assuming that's also anybody in the 23417 area code. 30% of people actually live on the Eastern Shore, which was good because we want them to come join us too. 10% have a second home and 5% were visitors. Employment status was 54.8% employed and 44.8% retired. The age groups were pretty much 45 and up, did the majority of the responding. We had 0.3% under 18 respond. And frankly, this is what we're seeing on our, I have just lost the word for it. When we're looking at like who we're targeting and who's responding to our marketing messages and stuff. 65 and over Main Street's killing it. Like they are dialed in. We do well in 45 and up, but we're looking to grab that younger age group as well. So you'll see some of our marketing is gonna be a little bit more skewed in that direction. How do they learn about Onancock? Mostly word of mouth. Social media is another big one. Newspaper, local newspaper, email is descending. So notices and flyers in stores, town council meetings, manager, the town manager minutes or whatever the not so often minutes. Burnham Guides, Eastern Shore Post. So those are some good ways for people to get their information about us. People who live in Onancock get the majority of what's going on by word of mouth. So that's still a big one around here. Everybody else is pretty much getting it through social media and then local newspapers.
Shore Post.
Right. Reasons to bring you to downtown Onancock. 89% was dining, which doesn't surprise me. The next one up was the farmers market, then special events, parades, concerts, shopping, then arts and entertainment, and so on. Which you all, I don't know, did you get the email today, Bill? I had this sent out today. So, okay, good. I'm just kind of going through it. New businesses people would like to see in Onancock, 61% said ice cream shop. 51% said like grocery or specialized grocery store. 46% said restaurant. 41% said a brewery distillery. And then the list goes down from there. Some of the other ones were like pickleball, candy store, bakery, public restrooms. I'm not sure. Maybe that's because we were closed down when the survey was going. Specialty grocer, which I would love, but I'm not sure that would be economically sustainable. What would you like to see more of in Onancock? So they want to see the empty buildings filled was the biggest one. Landscaping, flowers, trees, gardens, well-maintained facades on buildings, entertainment experiences, and then a couple other ones. Sorry, I get dry mouth.
Public art I see is 3.9.
Yep.
Who's that guy who wraps buildings?
Oh, I don't know.
Christo, I think.
Christo, yeah.
Maybe we could get him to wrap Janet's. For out of the EDA.
Oh, he's dead. Rosemary just said he's dead. Oh, no.
I got it.
Main Street does have 3 new murals going up this year, 2 in the corridor. And I'm not sure that the locations are public yet, but they will be soon if not. And then we're also doing a new Ravenna mural on the bathroom wall at 38 Market Street, which we're very excited about. So there's some public art there that we've got coming up. What activities and events have you attended? Farmers market was by far the most attended thing. Movies, plays, food and drink, parades, Second Friday, concerts, wharf, boating, fishing events, art galleries, and home tours. What 3 reasons do you use to encourage people to visit Onancock? Dining was the biggest, activities and events, water boating, being friendly. And actually, when we were sharing these survey results with our small group of stakeholders, which Katie attended on behalf of the EDA, one of the things that Robert Sabatini with the chamber said that Onancock is known for its friendliness. Visitors comment on that, and I've heard that for years working for the town because of the marina. Everybody is always so friendly, offering rides for people to go do stuff, always saying hi, making restaurant suggestions. So that was not a surprise for me, but it's something that we do well and we want to keep on doing well. What 3 reasons would you encourage people to establish a business in Onancock? And supportive local community, people, customers, friendly people, business mix, location, tourists, affordable real estate, incentives and business friendly environment, foot traffic, growing community, small town feel, available spaces, empty buildings. Alignment with previous market study. There was an opportunity to build on the success of Anacog's existing restaurant scene by offering an expanded selection of dining. The 2023, there's your market study, Jake. Indicated that $15.7 million in leakage in restaurants in a 30-minute drive time. This demand could support 19,600 to 26,000 square feet in additional dining space. So that would be I would love a new restaurant or two. Alignment with previous market study was also grocery. 51% of the 2024 survey respondents indicated that they'd like to see a new grocery store. Comments included requests for healthy food or specialty grocer. And the 2023 market study showed 1.8 million in leakage in grocery and 30-minute drive time, which would support 1,200 to 1,650 square feet. Not enough for a full grocer, but perhaps a specialty grocery store or health food store. And that was the end of the results that we shared. And these community surveys are something that we are working to try to do every other year for Main Street. So we'll hopefully do another one in 2026. And the reason why we do this is obviously for our own personal benefit. This helps drive our strategic plan and show that our grantors that we're doing projects that are important to the community. But it also allows our stakeholders like the EDA, the town, whomever, to see what else is a driver and people are really commenting. So we're very proud that we had so many responses and we really feel that the data is quite valid. Any questions?
No, it's really interesting. There is an ice cream store.
Coming, yes.
Right.
There's also, what's this one, women's clothing. Uh-oh. That was 14%.
Yeah.
But to your point, things seem to evolve around.
In place of marker 29, so, and that's gonna be a dawn like experience.
Yeah,
Where's that going?
that's going where marker 29 was.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Is there any other feedback you've gotten from merchants sharing this information?
No, not yet. We are actually, now that we're in the office, one of our goals has been to try to start quarterly business check-ins and just kind of, first of all, just kind of listen to what they're feeling, what's going on, what's going well, what's not going
Right.
well. That'll help drive some of our open for business as well. And like, what kind of program can we do to help them? Can't go into detail on that right now, but anyway, obviously that we want to be able to help them thrive. And so what does that look like? Is there programming we can do? Is it money that we can secure? Maybe it's a partnership that they just don't have realized yet. And that's something that we can help facilitate. So we'll be starting that soon. And I foresee that really going faster than every other quarterly, but we're just trying to get our there's so many little things going on. This is one thing that we did start talking about scheduling this. So, and we have a new board member, Mary Benakanen from Blarney Stone, and she's definitely a driver for some of this piece. And so we're very excited about that. So we're working on it.
Good.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Related question, I guess somewhat related. What happened to Queen Street parking lot? And the whole Hill group sort of,
It's on the agenda.
Yeah, we've got a core group and I've got drawings and the farmer's market has given, I think, their approval on the way it's gonna work and the way it's gonna feel. So once that happens, then I can start my job and get curbs and paving and lines. Yeah.
I noticed foot traffic and parks and recreation. As a guy with a dog that likes to walk, I mean, I think that's great.
Mhm.
But when I think about putting a bridge. About this. At the corner of the Queen Street parking lot, if you draw a B's line right back to the corner of the school and it ties up to the nature trail there.
Oh, wouldn't that be neat?
Just purchase or whatever, find a way to get a thin strip of land and put hedges on either side of it so it doesn't bother any neighbors. And bridge over that little creek and then do the same thing over at college. Put a bridge over that creek that goes all the way back to the dog park. I mean, longer nature walks are what's missing around here. I go to Mutton Hunt Pen fairly often. We go to Neck Dunes.
Mhm,
Only because, you can take a walk in nature and not have to do a quick circle.
mhm. I think that's a great idea.
Like one of those, could you do like a suspended, one of those little suspended?
A zip line.
Just carry your dog.
I was just thinking of driving some islands. I mean, they can be
Yeah.
6x6s and bridge.
Mhm. Wouldn't that be neat?
There was a log there when I was a kid.
I heard that, and that's one of the
Oh,
things
is that
that,
right?
that inspired.
That's how we would leave school and come downtown.
Wow,
Thank you.
that is
Oh.
cool.
I'll go cut down a tree. Just don't tell anyone.
No one will notice, don't worry.
Okay.
All right, that's good. Thank you, Lisa.
Oh, you're welcome. And obviously, if you participated, thank you very much. Your feedback was valuable.
Got my cards. I did it.
Oh, we market the bejesus out of that.
It was good. It's a really good turnout. I mean, that's really remarkable feedback.
Executive session to meet with.
Yep. So we
Attorney
didn't schedule the attorney just because we really don't have any work for the attorney at this point. So we have a candidate who's interested in meeting with us if we want to meet, but I didn't schedule anything with him. So,
We just have two more issues.
sure.
One is that I just wanna make sure that we do our due diligence. And, I'm really concerned about the filing, whether or not we need some sort of filing with either the state and or the feds. So I would ask that the
Just talking about
accountant,
audit.
the audit. I would ask that the accountant, give us a notice on his letterhead, just or saying that we don't need to, perform an audit this year or do any sort of tax filing.
Well, we're not a nonprofit, so we don't have to do a 990. And we only have $20,000 in the bank, which hasn't been touched for anything.
Right.
And we don't meet the audit requirements at the moment.
Received $1 million that we lent it out.
We did not
No,
receive
the
$1
town
million.
did.
The town did.
So it didn't go through the EDA at all.
No, because as soon as Matt put the first reimbursement through CAMS, it was going to be town filtered through the town. Yeah. Oh, it did.
Which is why we're here.
Right.
Should we just, you asked the accountant though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be part of the corporate overall.
Of what the town-
Other column of business unit.
Which will be the EDA.
The accountant could just give us a note, just saying you don't have to do anything further.
That's fine, I can get that.
Okay.
The other thing is that when the payments came up early on, you, Matt, had said that, the state was going to review all the bills. But the performance agreement says that the town and the authority have to review bills. So I'm not sure if anybody on the authority had actually looked at any of those bills. I didn't. I don't know if Katie or anybody else did.
Well, I did, and I was treasurer.
Right.
So I'm sorry, who did?
Matt said that he was treasurer and he did review.
As our treasurer.
Officer, but he's not a member of the authority.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you would expect to do at this point.
Well, I don't think we can do anything now, but I think that going forward, we should be more prudent.
Okay,
That's why you always want two sets of eyes.
Right, we had the state as well, right, reviewing all of these.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
State review is very, very carefully.
Right.
And so did the state review all of this?
Mm-hmm. They go to the state first and then they come to the town and then Matt reviews them.
Well, they come
Right.
from the developer to me, I send it to the state reviews it, and then either reimburses us or tells us what we have to change.
Okay, there's nothing in performance agreement that says they have to go to the state. So that's my confusion.
There are two performance agreements, one between the town and the state, and one between the EDA and the town.
One between the town. So could you send us a copy of that one as well?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else?
Just, are we on the same cadence that, the town is in terms of what a fiscal year is and when the audit happens? Is it
Yeah.
all? Okay.
Yeah. All right. I think that's.
Was that the last thing on the agenda?
That
Okay.
was.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'm the second banana here. I'll do it.
You've been doing a good job.
Yeah, well done. Got promoted to treasurer. All right,
All right.
all in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right,
Mhm.
all right.